Live!
We're live.
Yay!
YouTube, hello. RealmWalker. I'm here. We're doing a panel discussion about flat Earth activism, and today we have awesome people. We got Authentic Intent is here, Flat Earth Fokker, and Maryland Spirit Level Teed, and our favorite Zoom Truther, Zoom Truth. Bam! What's up, guys?
How's it going, brother?
Maryland.
Wait, let
Richard
me.
Lopez, hey, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, turn off your other things.
Sorry, guys. So welcome to the discussion, guys. We got a couple things to talk about. Before we get into that, besides the introduction, everybody, thank you for being here. If you do want to talk or bring up any topics to discuss, please just post them in the chat. We'll do our best to kind of read through it and keep an eye on it. We might not be able to get to everything, but we got a good amount of stuff to talk about, so we'll do our best to hit any questions or any other ideas that anybody wants to bring up during the discussion. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to just bring up the first thing, and that is activism and current events. So we've all been busy. We've all been doing stuff, and I'm sure we all have a couple little things to add. So I'll just go ahead and kick this off with, how about Mac? Mac, you want to go first?
No, I actually don't.
You don't? I was like, oh.
It's early for me. It's 10 o'clock.
Well, basically, has there been anything new in the activism world? You got any videos on the cooker that are getting ready to come out, or any plans to go out again?
Sure. I mean, I haven't videotaped any flat smacking of late. I just haven't had the opportunity. Whenever I do talk flat Earth, I haven't had my camera handy. As far as getting on the street again, I did plan something on Labor Day. I actually had 3 people from the Vancouver area, Nick, Rob, and Ben, who were going to join me at the fair. It's a 2.5-week fair that happens here in Vancouver. But unfortunately, I woke up and I said, I got to delay this 2 hours. And then I slept till 8 o'clock at night. I don't know. It was a lot of, catching up on my sleep. So I feel unfortunate about that. I do want to plan something with a banner and hit the streets. It's just timing has been really hard of late to find something. So I don't really have anything on the cook.
Where do you do your work, Mac? I don't even know. Where?
Canada.
I'm from Vancouver. Sorry, Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, okay. No luck yet in cooking up with anybody out by you?
Oh, no. Like I said, there's a few guys. I met with Ben one time at the beach, and there's a couple of other guys that wanna join me. Actually, there's about 4 other people that are ready to go. It's just a matter of getting our timings correct and doing that. I find with a lot of these street activisms, you need 2-3 hours, right? You need 2-3 hours to go up there. You're basically giving up your day. So my style has always been about, hey, whoever I talk to, whether it's a clerk at the convenience store, the waitress at the restaurant, I usually will try to engage them. And if they are engaging, I'll hit record on my camera. And that's how I've been fortunate enough to do it. Lately, like I said, if I get into a conversation, I don't have my camera handy, or people, I find like the last couple of months, people just aren't ready to engage. If I bring up flat Earth or they see my shirt, they just shut it right off. So there's no opening, and I don't want to be like forcing it down people's throats, and because I don't, I just don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. I did that in the beginning. Right now, I want the opportunity. I want them to be a little bit open to receiving the truth about flat Earth and the globe deception. Otherwise, it's pointless for me to just keep smacking and they're not open to receiving any of it.
I really liked the video you did with Mikey, where you guys were out, with the banner and stuff like that. That was a pretty awesome video. Yeah. And plus, you look like you were in such a good mood that day. It was such a great version of Fokker. I mean, like, you were so happy and like open. I think it was just because it was a beautiful day or whatever. But yeah, it was an awesome flat smack experience. Yeah. So,
thanks, Steve.
Yeah. All right. So how about you, Marilyn? What have you been up to currently in the current world?
Well, last night I went out and I don't. Are we going to go through everybody first? Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was a spur of the moment thing. So opportunities can present themselves even, within 5-hour time span. And for me, it's something I have these smaller banners, which I can throw in the car and I'm gone and I can go by myself. And I like that. And I had an awesome night last night. So catch the videos on that.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I've been like lacking on your videos lately. I got to go back and watch a bunch.
Shame on you.
Yeah. So, anything else? You have anything on coming up? You any cool activism days coming up or anything?
Yes, as a matter of fact, but we can get to that later. I have a lot of things like I am still working on planning the activism seminar.
Ooh, yeah.
That should be in the first or second weekend of November. So keep an eye open for that.
Awesome. Yeah. So, how about you, David? What you been up to?
Not much, as you probably know.
Surviving.
Been watching everybody do their thing. It's that's been nice. But honestly, I'm miserable. I have not been going out, and that was the one thing I enjoy is going out there. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm happy to get slowly back into this crap again, I guess.
Oh, that's great, man. I love the shirt too.
Thanks.
Pretty pimp.
Yeah, we both have that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Part of the cool kids club, man. I need a shirt.
Yeah, man. We gotta get these out to people.
Yeah, definitely. So, how about you, Jay Swifty, Authentic? What you been up to, man?
Yeah, well, over the weekend I went to the Gopher game. They played Ohio Redhawks, destroyed them. So, college kids, they're a different breed. It's like you're on the Mormon church grounds and you're telling people that they're believing in the wrong Jesus.
Yeah, that's tough.
So it's difficult to talk to kids, but I don't have like a magic, X-ray glasses I got in a Cracker Jack box to be able to see whether people are going to listen to Flat Earth or not. I'm responsible for telling everybody. That's just my calling and where I stand. So I can't pick and choose and have discernment in regards to who I waste my time with for 20 minutes. My responsibility is between the people that are seeing the signage, the people I'm talking to, whether they agree with it or not, and conveying the message that we all were able to come in line with, because it's truth. And truth resonates with people, whether it takes people a couple of years for them to figure it out. But for me, it took a few weeks. I mean, really. And so I have a particular calling on my life. I'm responsible for that calling, and I know I will meet our Creator. And I just feel a responsibility in that regard. Most recently, I posted a link in the description section. I saw a couple of days ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson did an interview with a news organization, and he started talking about outer space and plans of having travel there, for civilians, maybe be part of like a $10 lottery, a $10 lottery, and then like you win. I mean, that sounds rigged in itself because there's no way I would win that. It's like the lottery as it is now. You never see any of these people that won the lottery. And I don't agree with like how they're going about that. I saw a really interesting quote on Facebook after Neil deGrasse Tyson said something about like light speed or whatever. It was, either you're a scientist lying to people or you're an actor and you're lying to people. But which one are you?
Yeah.
So that's in the current news right now. And I try to bring up stuff that's current, like about space. And when I was at the game, I brought up the Flat Earth International Conference that's coming up in November, just to, remind people that, this is a thing. Yeah, it's not the biggest thing on Earth right now, but it will be a thing. And woe is you for the time that it took you to realize, because then you're going to look back and be like, gosh, I wish I would have just gone and followed in line months ago. So.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I myself don't really have too much current. Well, I have a lot current. I just haven't been so forthcoming with that. But I'll just go ahead and say it. I recently got married. I'm really happy about that. Got the ring right here. So I've been busy with that. I was not doing any of my editing for my videos. So the Chinatown Flat Smack Part 2 just came out yesterday, and that's because I had it on the back burner for so long. And I've already filmed 3 other or maybe 5 other episodes since then, and it's just a matter of going back and doing editing. So that stuff's it's coming. So I'll be hard at work for the next few weeks, catching up to all that. And on top of all that, we do have some pretty cool meetups coming up. We're going to the Adler Planetarium, so that's going to be fun. We're going to be dealing with some seriously indoctrinated fools there. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, I'll see. And yeah, so we got the Activism meetup. We're going to be doing that. And then we got another meetup at like a t-shirt shop. It's like a 1-hour t-shirt shop. And this is a good idea for you guys out there who are activists who want to, you know, go out and do something cool for a meetup. Is we're going to meet up at a 1-hour tea and make flat earth shirts. And that's the meetup. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Jealous. I am so jealous of that. And I looked for a 1-hour t-shirt shop in our area and I couldn't find one. So they must not be a franchise. But I thought that was an excellent, excellent idea.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing. I mean, there's only one I know of in Chicago, and it's called 1-Hour Teas. And you know, not that we're promoting them, but it's so cool. I hit them up. I told them I was doing a meetup, and they were so accommodating. They're like, "Yes, definitely. Bring your group. Just come early. Everybody can get a design in, and then we can all get taken care of." So I thought that was awesome. So we got that going. So that's exciting. And then I wanted to give a shout out to my homeboy, you know, my partner in crime, my PNC, Flat Earth City. I know you're in the chat, man. Just big ups. Love you, man. Thank you for everything that you do. You're an inspiration and a really good friend. So I just want to give you a shout out. So, all right. So I think that's.
You also had somebody else walking with you at the China.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's British Steve. That's my homie, man. Like, yeah. Big ups to him. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he is an activist and he gives a crap about flat Earth. He was at my wedding. He was an amazing guy.
I invited.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. Really good dude. And then Danny, another part of our group. See, what I do is we got like a text thread, and then we just kind of like organically talk to each other. And whenever we come up with ideas, we say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And then people just show up. So we've been doing that for a while, and it's been working. Honestly, I don't have Facebook. I don't do like the social media stuff. If I'm going to talk to someone, I'm going to talk to them directly. I want to be the authority of that information, you know, coming to me, not some in-between company. So, I mean, we're dealing with cell phone companies, I guess. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that I rather just put them on a text thread with a bunch of friends, and then we sort out stuff and then just kind of go from there, rather than, hey, meet me on Facebook and well, you know, whatever. I'm not a Facebook guy, so to me it was more of a work or chore. So so yeah, that was that. There was the introduction and the current events. So I guess we can get into like the juicy stuff. And first I'll let Marilyn, do you want to add anything before I start kicking off a couple things? You want to drop a couple things?
Well, why don't we say, like, why do we think it's important to be active out there?
Good one.
Yeah, I think it's really a reflection of what's inside of you. If you are a true flat earther, then how can you not let it out? I mean, how can you sit there and hold that in? And it's going to destroy you if you don't let it out and start telling people and getting it out there. One scripture reference I can give is faith without works is dead. So even though this is not something, a blind faith, flat earth is provable, and it's about creation. And telling about our creator is part of our makeup. So he gave us a directive to go out there and tell everybody, the Great Commission. So I think that we need to take this seriously. And anyone who is a true flat earther believes this was created. Now you have to go out and tell. You have to do that, or faith without works is dead. You're dead. Are you walking dead? Well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, it's the very definition of a zombie, Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
I think only thing is I think that I think a lot of us have special circumstances where, like where we were talking about before, where this. I hear you, Marilyn. I'm with you on everything that you said. But with that said, people are afraid, man. You start opening your mouth, and you have a family you have to take care of, and you lose your job. That's a problem, So it's the system,
and that's why we're here.
Dave, is there any way you can be active without opening your mouth?
That's a good question. But
yeah, you can stand there with a sign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Lois come by. She emailed me and she's like, "How come you didn't say anything to my son about flat Earth?" Because her son doesn't understand the concept of flat Earth. Like, he's just a science guy. And then my response was, well, isn't the testimony of me being there loud enough for him? Why do I have to talk to somebody about flat Earth if their family member is already a flat Earther?
Yeah.
What is that going to do? I mean, I can say and bang a gong, but I don't know this person, and now it has become personal because I know the person whose this son is. So me standing there, he knows that I've done activism, and he's even mentioned parts of my videos that she didn't show him, like timestamps of another video that he looked for himself. So it is different than sharing the gospel, in my opinion. You can walk around and be a good person all day, and people just around you can think you're just a good person. But you do it. You're a good person because you believe on Jesus Christ, and people can't necessarily see that. With flat Earth, you do have to say something, give them a card, hold a sign, or verbally say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely has to be action. Which actually kind of brings me to exactly what we're talking about is what Marilyn just said is effective techniques for activism, because that's what it's all about. It's like, what's effective, what works for us individually, what works for other people out there, and what are some ideas that we can elaborate on to better improve your techniques as an activist. So one of them, like Joshua just said, the sign situation. We all know there's different ways to go about the signage. You can have something around your neck, whatever, a board, banner, whatever. The point is to be impactful. So do research on stuff like that. I mean, if I come from an artist background, so I would do research on, what colors stand out, how to make sure that your text is legible from longer distances, how to make sure that your print type is easy to read and it's not going to confuse people and throw people off, or if it's not going to make people squint their eyes, so you have to take some of these things into consideration. So we're not all artists out there, but it is easy to just go online and research this stuff. It's all available on YouTube, and other places as well. So
with that what you just said, Steve, too, and just makes me think, because honestly, every interaction that you have when you I've been going out that much lately, but it's now when I do go out, every person is going to hear about flat Earth, and I'm wearing my shirt every freaking day now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see any point to not at this point. But that's another just little thing. I mean, if every person we have 36 people watching right now, if they talk to 10 people in the course of a day, there is 360 people getting hit with flat Earth, so there is, it's not just being out on the street and crap. It's just life, you know what I mean? And putting it into people's heads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fokker always wears a shirt, don't you, Fokker?
Well, since January, I've worn a flat Earth shirt just like this in people's face every day. There's a couple of days over the summer that I decided I didn't want to wear the shirt, but so that you're looking at since January to now, it's right in people's face. They're seeing this.
I see it when I'm in the grocery store too, man. People look at me like I have two heads. It's funny.
Exactly. Exactly. And I like what Dave does, and I'm leaving those little cards now in the grocery stores. I got the stickers. Every time I fill up gas, it goes on the gas pump. It gets removed about a week later, but how many people are going to be pumping gas there before the employees see it? On the bus stop, if I walk by a bus stop, I stick Research Flat Earth stickers on there. I just believe in that. Like, we were subliminally programmed to believe in this globe, and that's exactly what we need to deprogram them, is they need to see it. And then, like you say, Dave, people look at you like you got two heads. And like Josh said as well, like, you know, we have to pick our battles. Some people aren't ready. They just want to argue.
Yep.
They want to ridicule. So after we've been talking flat earth for a little while, we have that discernment in who to engage with and who not to. And like you said, there's no need for me to waste my time trying to get the horse to drink water if the horse isn't ready, right? All we can do is just plant that seed and keep planting it. And we hear stories about somebody that got sick and tired of it, and after a certain amount of time, they decided to research it. I mean, that percentage, I think, is very, very small, 1 out of 1,000. But again, it comes down to a numbers game, and the effort has to be continued, and it has to be continued by everybody. Like Dave says here, 41 people watching, and I remember Marilyn last time said, just get a piece of paper and just put it on your hat, flat earth. Buy a plain shirt for $1 at the dollar shirt, get a felt pen and write the earth is flat if you can't afford a $20 or $30 shirt, and then just walk tall.
A few people are saying your mic isn't coming in that good.
It's like so. It's just a little bit lower. But yeah, I agree with you guys, and I actually feel horrible because I only own 2 flat earth shirts, so that's why I'm looking forward to this meetup where we'll actually have
tattoo. Get a tattoo that says flat earth.
Yeah, on my forehead. Yeah. Done. But no, yeah. I need to start representing a lot more on that tip. Like I do talk about it everywhere I go, and I'm always carrying flyers on me, and I'm always passing them out. I go to the store, I pass them out. Anything. I'm dropping them in different places too. So put them on cars. People get annoyed at that, I'm sure, but I do it all the time. But yeah, I do need to up my game on the represent more, and I need some super fresh shirts. And I'm an artist, and I can design some really dope ones, and I actually have a few I started. I just need to get back on it and finish it. So that will come. That will come.
I did. Oh, go ahead, Mac.
I just wanted to add what you say, and I 100% agree. Like, once we wake up to the truth, like I find for myself personally, I don't want to talk about anything else. Sure, we have to live our day-to-day lives and engage with people and run our business, etc. But I mean, this is the truth. This is such a big lie. Whether it's about the creator. For me, it's about, yes, the creator's there, but it's ending human enslavement. Like, and just like what happened to Dave with the cops, it happened to me. You guys, I got a jaywalking friggin' ticket.
I saw that. It was horrible.
And this is what they're doing, and this is where the state of society is coming, and humanity is becoming, by people sitting back and not doing anything and just being complicit. I'm gonna put a link in. I don't know, or I'll just say it verbally here, guys. After this live stream, this hangout, go to Dan Pratt's channel. I'll put he mirrored a talk rant by Larkin Rose. It's friggin' amazing. Like, I'm gonna try to listen to that every couple of days. It's a little bit negative, but I mean, it's the truth. I mean, that's what my desire is. To everything he's talking about in that 20-minute video is why we are doing this.
Mac.
And because the state, one sec, before the state of our, where we are now, just think, I don't know if you guys have children, but where is it going to be in 15, 20 years? The state of the system for our children. Go ahead.
I just had one quick question. Mac, you got a ticket for jaywalking now. Do you know about the whole common law living man thing or no?
I've been on and off with that for a couple of years, and actually since I got that ticket, because I have to fight it, I've went back more into, mainly I'd say 60% of the videos I watch are on beating these stupid statute violation tickets.
Yeah, it's not easy though. I know, and the only I just was wondering if you had heard about that stuff, because I did the same thing. Like, I look back at my video with the cop, and now I'm like, oh, I made this mistake, that mistake, this mistake. I shouldn't have told him a bit. I didn't have to do anything. So anyway, I just hope that people really start to pay attention to this. That we have more power. They're obscuring you know, they everything's a freaking lie, and including the court systems. So.
Well, when I was at the football game on the University of Minnesota campus, the game got out. You know, there was a police officer that was monitoring the intersection, and kids were jaywalking left and right. So, I mean, again, like, what instigates a jaywalking ticket? I mean, most cops, I mean, a majority of police are going to give you a warning. So I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, because I saw a lot of kids, particularly this one couple kids, who actually assaulted my property, took my camera off with their hands, and I had to say something to the police officer, because otherwise I would have pepper sprayed the kid. I would have, if the police officer would not have been there. I would have done that.
Yeah.
So my only recourse was to tell the police officer that he assaulted me and took my camera and whatever. So what he did is he told them to walk away, because basically they're infringing on my First Amendment right, and the cop has to protect that.
Yes.
Now he saw them jaywalk twice, and he gave them a third warning and said, if I see you jaywalk again, I am giving you a jaywalking ticket. That's all I'm saying. I mean, a jaywalking ticket is something that they are reaching. They know you.
Yep.
Or they're reaching, and they're trying to cause some kind of a spirit in you.
Yes.
That makes you think, well, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's every cop is different. I've had a lot of interactions with the police, and
Mac, your mic is really low, my man.
Hold on, let me double check that again. I'll fix
So,
that. I got them maxed out.
Some people say they can hear me fine. Some people, I guess, can't hear me.
can you turn your mic up in the Hangouts chat?
It's up on the top. I just maxed him out on the control room, so he's up to full blast.
How's that?
That does sound better.
So yeah, I mean, there are good police officers, and I've met a lot in my life, but a lot of them are going to power trip, and yeah, jaywalking is a stretch. But if they just feel they have the authority, if they don't like the way you look, or if they don't like what you're doing, they have the authority. And the thing is, Dave, you said we have more power, but unfortunately the police don't know that. They're indoctrinated and under such brainwashing that they feel that they own us and they can do whatever they want. And it's going to take a mass awakening to stop that.
Right. But let me put it just, but Mac, the point is that for me, like on the boardwalk, if the real people who are out on the boardwalk saw that, and if they forget the police, they only have the power because the people give them the power. Like, honestly, we are like, and I don't mean they knowingly do it, but being brain dead. Even me, the way I reacted to them, like I gave them like some type of authority. Even I almost should have just ignored them. But like and then in court, like we were having this conversation. I'm sorry, but I do feel strongly like. I saw the one video, and I think Steve was telling me about the guys over in London. Dave, we were talking about Dave. What's his name? Dave, the flat earther Dave over in Britain. And he at one point they had a whole challenge, and they challenged the court, and it's on video. And they just said, no, you're not going to do this. And they served the magistrate dude freaking treason papers. I mean, at what point do we not understand that you have a couple hundred people up against 3 thugs in a freaking fake court, and now you're going to find the truth? Because like why are they even dragging me in? The video has 200,000 video. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with you and you're jaywalking, or anybody with jaywalking. You take the average person and you ask them, do you see a crime there? And they're going to say no.
Right. So it's not of who the person is and then who the cop is. So maybe you and Max should talk about this later when you get off.
Well, I just want to. Oh, what happened? Oh.
Sorry, that was me.
No, I think I turned my camera off. I mean, I understand, but I mean, this is the reason, Marilyn, that I do Flat Earth. Because Flat Earth is useless if there's no goal for it. And the goal is what's happening in the system. And, Sorry, there's a lot of feedback. The whole purpose of flat Earth is not the shape of the Earth; it's the lie and what the purpose of the lie is. And the purpose of the lie is to, distrust our senses and to enslave us. That's what it's all about. Now, whether I do that with chemtrails or the free man, the sovereign citizen, or GMOs, that's what this is all about. I've just taken flat Earth to be my vehicle. But the underlying reason that flat Earth isn't so important is I feel like I have no rights, right? And so that's why I think it's very important. And a lot of people are not talking about that. The flat Earth is just a lie.
Yes, but we need to increase our numbers before we have any power. So we have to increase the numbers. We all have to get out there and do something for flat Earth. Whatever it is, you have to do something. We can't just sit back on our bottoms and not do anything and think somebody else is going to fix it for us.
Exactly. And that's what this is. I mean, this is a call to action to all of you out there that are flat earthers. We need more
We
numbers.
got 53 listening right now. So
Right.
yeah, and by the way, one of them is he made his what's critical inception.
Yeah.
He made his. Remember, you told me about that last night, Steve. So
Yeah. Let me do a screen share real quick.
Yeah, well, not all 53 of those people watching are flat earthers.
Right.
So,
well,
and
not all,
whether
but I would say
there's probably 100. There's probably 100 people in this chat. I mean,
No.
really, who knows?
Yeah, that's true too. That's a good one. I forgot.
Well, just Marilyn, flat Earth is important, and I've been talking about growing our numbers since my first video, but there has to be an underlying reason. If people don't get the importance of why flat Earth is important. So whatever it is for somebody, there has to be a fire that drives it. Like, what's driving people to speak the truth? And unless people have that, I've woken up about 30 or 40, maybe 40 people that are like, okay, we don't live on a globe. The Earth is flat. But they don't care. They're not talking about it. They don't talk to their friends and family. They're just like, well, it doesn't affect my life. And until people see how it affects their life and they can't envision like how life would be without these lies. So when they have that something that lights that fire, then people will do about it. So it's multifaceted. We do have to grow our numbers, but we have to invoke some sort of spirit or reason for people to want to talk about flat Earth. Otherwise, they don't see the difference.
We need somebody who's able to convey the legal name fraud or your birth certificate, because that lines up. I can't do that. I haven't gone through that process. I don't know what that looks like. If you're a flat earther and you know about that, Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curd did a video a couple days ago about it. Very one-on-one, surfacey explanation of what it is. If you're able to convey that message after flat Earth, then you might be able to draw people out into wanting their own independence as a person instead of what human beings really are, batteries like on the Matrix.
I think one of the stipulations of that too is just like the whole thing, like the paying taxes, like if you can prove that it's criminal, that the system is corrupt, well, hey, well, there you go. The Earth is flat. The system is corrupt. There's your key point, So yeah, I mean, I think flat Earth is preparing the world for this tangent effect. Like, it's going to happen together, because when we hit critical mass, who's going to abide by the totalitarian regime that we have in place now? Nobody. They're going to be like, this is corrupt. This is fixed. We don't have a vote. This is not real. This is an illusion.
It's going to get stopped before that, because unless we're communicating through smoke and carrier pigeons, we communicate through online, and we all know that they read our messages and they just let it be. They'll let it be for 2 years, and they'll collect enough evidence to show that you're an enemy of the state, and it will be squashed. Or they'll have infiltrators affect your movement and steer it a different way than it's supposed to go.
That was one of the things I wanted to bring up too, which I neglected, was how can we spot an infiltrator? what are the kinds of things that we look for? There's some people that are doing things and I'm there, well, that's not the way I would do it, but I'm going to let them go and do it that way, even though I'm not like too sure about them, because they might be bringing in other people, and God even used people who were not like perfect. So, but how do we?
To me, I mean,
Judas?
I've always seen like, people who are infiltrators or whatever. To me, it would seem like they would be like, they would have an agenda, and it would try to keep you pointed in one direction. And the second you started turning in a different direction, be like, no, you're going the wrong way, go this way. So nobody here is really doing that. We're all kind of freely moving and operating in our own sense. So until we have somebody who's just like, no, you have to do it exactly this way and you have to be this way, then you can be a little worried. But up until then, I think we haven't encountered anybody of such, of such magnitude. Like, it doesn't seem to be applicable just yet. But I think we're starting to get some steam going. And yeah, I'm sure there will be a moment where we'll all realize it together, or maybe not. I don't know. But I'm hoping that we're smart enough and we started picking up on it doesn't matter anyway. So like, let's say somebody does try to apply themselves as a figurehead, then we already know how the movement should go personally. Why should we follow one guy, this guy that's saying this anyway? Right. So I think we pretty much have it all pegged as far as that. I don't think they have much room to breathe on that level. I mean, I'm sure they got smart people figuring shit out, but here we are discussing this like we don't know,
So I have something on how to get opportunities, which is where we kind of started a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to show you guys something.
Calendar.
So this is January. So how much activism did this person do in January?
It's blurry, so it looks like nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing. Now
Nothing.
look, this is August.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So I keep a calendar, and when things come up, I put them down on the calendar. Do I get everything done? No. But if I see something, oh, look, there's a festival over here. And there was a really good festival I wanted to go to, and I didn't make it. But that's okay. I had it on my calendar. There was an opportunity there, and I could have gone, but I chose to do something else and then do the next day. Actually, I did the next 2 days. So this is one of the tools that you need for activism, is just planning your work, working your plan, having this written down somewhere, like, oh yeah, I want to go to that. So write that down somewhere. A big calendar with a big blocks that you can write in them. So what else do you guys use?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I use the Meetup app, but you're actually bringing up exactly what I wanted to talk about next too. It's picking the best locations for activism, and like how you do it. You do like the forward research where you look at what events are happening in your area, you mark them down on a calendar, and you just sort of just go with what feels right. And I like that because that's exactly kind of how I do it. I usually just kind of Google, events in Chicago and stuff like that, and look for cool things that I think are interesting or are going to bring a good amount of people, and then we just plan a meetup around it, and that's what we do.
Events in Chicago, usually your local town will put out a little booklet or
there's a website. Yep.
Schedule of events, and you don't do Facebook, but on Facebook there are also local events to your area. Somehow they know where we live.
They're tracking us.
So just look through that, scroll through that, and plan a whole month ahead so you can kind of figure out what you're going to do. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, however it works for people. I mean, like, we all have our ways of picking our locations, and that's why I'm bringing this up too, because it's like we want to inspire ideas for you guys out there who are doing activism or looking for a way to structure your activism events. Look for something fun. Look, if you want, this is up to you. But look for something fun in your neighborhood, something accessible, something that you'd enjoy. Maybe great people will be around, stuff like that. And also try to avoid areas where you're going to have too loud of music. You're not going to be able to speak. You're going to be like accessing your voice. So try to pay attention to the vibe and the setting so that you know that you have a good platform for getting your voice across too. So just something to think about. Yeah. Anybody else have any ideas?
I just wanted to say regarding location. Like honest, I think I'm going to try, like we discussed last night, probably hitting busy roads with my sign that just puts the meme out there. Because I had trouble with the billboards. I'd like to do billboards, but now that costs more money. But I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe I can probably spring, if anybody listening would be interested in getting one, I could probably have one made and shipped out to you if that's something that anybody here would want to do. Because, and like, let's say you don't want to really talk to people. You don't really need to talk to them if you just stand on a busy street where there's a ton of cars and you hold your sign there. You're going to get, you're planting seeds pretty massive scale.
Oh yeah,
some of these roads. So,
I've been on rush hour traffic, and you're just sitting there looking at the scenes, and you have tons of time to think. So,
what is the time frame that you're looking at for that whole, being outside with the banner and whatnot?
I used to do it for my stores, so it's kind of boring. Actually, it wouldn't be probably that boring considering your message. But as far as me having someone making the banner for somebody, or as far as how long they would go out and do it.
Yeah, I can make banners all day. I can do that and sit back and drink a coffee. But to stand out like today in 90-degree sunny weather for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's all. I would say
some people are into doing that. So each person is going to have to kind of.
Yeah,
which
do
also
most comfortable, like an hour at least. I think that an hour is effective.
Yeah. I mean,
stand out there for 5 minutes.
Hour. If they want to do 2 minutes, rush hour. Anything is cool with me. I mean, I don't want to be spending money for somebody who's just going to put it in their closet. But if someone wants to do it, and I can spring for a few of those to help start getting these out there, because there's only freaking 5 of us here, and if we I don't know, I'd like to have 10 of us in the next one who are saying they went out and did some of this stuff,
And I'm sure there are tons of flat earthers that are like on the scene that are artists as well, or anything that can actually just paint these or DIY it themselves. So I always try to push that angle, make sure that people know that their effective tools are amongst themselves. You don't have to outsource all this stuff. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going over what we just talked about, because it kind of falls into lines with what I was going to bring up, it's psychology, and how psychology pertains to activism, how we can use it to our benefit, and what we can do to better our message out there, because that's important, right? So do you guys mind if I screen share for a second? I want to do a little show and tell here.
That's fine.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You get in the infinity shot. Give it 1 second. Oh, look at that. Critical inception. You guys are reading me? Can you see what I'm doing?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so let's go to here. I just want to show you this. This is called the Ames window. It's an optical illusion. And what I'm pointing out in this optical illusion is simply that our perception, which has already been kind of previously manufactured by our day-to-day lives, our societal interactions, affects how we perceive the world around us. And this is a good topic to discuss, because I think that it's important to realize how the brain works and how our minds work. And if we understand it, maybe we can hack it and use it to our advantage in some sort of way. So just pointing out the obvious here, this is an optical illusion. Obviously, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but it does some pretty interesting stuff. So we'll start with something simple where it actually just rotates. So here we go. We'll have it rotate. Let me pull it up to any part where it's rotating. Okay, here we go. Much better. So what we're witnessing is the object rotating in free space, but it's shaped in a trapezoid way where it forces perspective. Now, the problem with this is there's a conflicting moment when it makes its full revolution, its first revolution, and it reaches its second revolution. It reverses direction, even though you know what direction it's moving. Now, the reason why it does this is because we all know what a window looks like. We've all seen a window with the little shadows and the little edges of the pane. We're all familiar with windows, But we don't realize how this impact, just knowing what a window is actually altering your perception of reality. Because you already know what a window is, you can't see this object for what it is. So as it rotates in free space, you're not seeing it as a trapezoid rotating in free space. You're seeing it as a window changing directions backwards again. Like it's going one way and it's just turning around and going back. That's just because our perception. Now they went even further and they said, okay, well, let's make it easier. Let's stick something in this window, right? And let's see if that will allow our brain to see it for what it really is. But here's something interesting is like when you see this actually happen, it doesn't necessarily follow the rules of what you think. So you're following it, it's going back. It's like, okay.
Really stare at it hard. So see if you can try and make it go.
All right, now watch it carefully. Where is it going? Where is it going? Where is it going?
Woohoo!
How is it doing this? What is going on here? So what is going on here is your brain knows what this is, but still, even though you know what this is, all you know is a window. You've never experienced a trapezoid painted in such a manner by itself as just a trap. If you showed this image to like a group of people, I don't know how true this is, but a group of people who've never seen a window in their life, like an indigenous tribe, they would see exactly that, a trapezoid rotating in space. They would not see the optical illusion, but because we have our perception of what the world is, it's affecting how we see things. So how does this pertain to what I'm talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is a lot of what we're dealing with in the flat earth community is we're still, even though we say, oh, well, the sky doesn't explain what's going on down here, but we're not really pointing out the obvious. We don't really understand what's going on in the sky. Our mind knows only space. It knows only these things. And even though we're flat earthers and we know that this is not necessarily true, this is, a concocted lie, we still are looking at space. So none of us are going to understand what's above until flat earth reaches a critical mass and everybody knows the earth is flat and nobody cares about space. Then we'll finally start to explain these phenomena that we actually perceive. And I think that's when a lot of things will happen with the flat earth, where we'll actually figure it out, so to speak. So here, let me stop sharing for a second. All right, so I wanted to point that out because I'm trying to inspire new ways to get the message out. And that is saying that maybe we've been looking at this too long from a certain perspective. We're activists, we're in a situation, we want to get the word out, but maybe it's more obvious to people who are not on the field that we're at. So we're using psychology to sort of figure out our world and come up with better techniques to do what we're doing. And then there was another psychology thing that I was going to bring up, and that is there's been like these crazy studies, and like one of these studies was like when it comes to activism, right? Like we're trying to explain how to teach people about flat earth. Well, there's a problem in that because the way we're teaching flat earth right now, we're the minority. So we're telling people go out and be activists, but there's not a lot of activists out there. So that's conflicting. So we're looking at it from the perspective like, well, you're telling us to be activists, but in a way you're telling us that we're already not activists and that there's already a majority that are not. So they already fall into that majority. So why act? So there's confliction there. So the only way we're going to hit that point where activism is the way to go is that when it becomes, it's going to take time, but it's going to gradually build steam to where it becomes the social norm of flat earth. Until other flat earthers out there that are in the spotlight, in which we pointed this out before on the last live thing, is until their motto is it's all about activism, baby, we're not going to get to the point where a lot of people are going to want to do this stuff. So it's taking the strong-hearted. Go ahead, Marilyn. What were you going to say?
Yeah, there is a disconnect. I mean, you guys know how long it took us to like talking in the Greek of the heliocentric model to talking in terms of flat earth. I mean, there's some things that you look at it one way and to get it to look at the other way, it takes some doing. I had a guy I was talking to on Facebook about this and he was so frustrated and angry. And I've had to figure out that he was looking at it, at the flat earth, as though it was the face of a clock. He kept saying, you know, going from the North Pole and all, and it was just such a big argument. There's a disconnect. There's a translation error. So we have to remember how we used to think, or how the globalists are thinking, so we can help them travel over that disconnect. Yeah, and that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that we're trying to hack this whole you know, getting people to perceive activism as the important key point in flat Earth, and that's going to take some. It's going to take some getting used to. And I think that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing this meetup. You know, I'm not meetup, but you know, hangout, is so that we can let other people know that, yeah, we're working together and this is great. And like, I couldn't be happier working with such a great group of people. Like all of you guys, like I'm big fans of what you do. I love working with you. I love interacting with you. I love being able to like chat with you whenever and just, you know, shoot the crap. I mean, not even talk about flat Earth stuff sometimes, which we usually always get stuck in flat Earth stuff. But the point is that these connections are part of the recipe for our accomplishments. Like we're going to get there by amping this up more. And you know, anybody else out there, you know, like I said, I gave a shout out to Critical Inception. Awesome dude. I love you, man. Like, you know, you've always been in the chat and you've always been there, and I know you're watching. And you know, that flat smack was, that for me was like a tipping point. Like my heart was like, yo, this is beautiful. I love this guy. Like he's out there doing it. And I'm hoping that we inspire you a little bit and we inspire others a little bit to do the same, to go out and be your own authority and go out and be an activist. And you don't have to start a YouTube channel. You could just, you know, like Mac doesn't record everything he does. He just does it when it's right, you know, and you don't even have to record, just be an activist socially through life, you know, and tell people the earth is flat, because that's how we're going to win this, man. Like, this has got to be the way. Yeah.
The way I do it to bridge that gap is I teach them something. I always go right to the map for the first thing, and then I show them the UN logos and whatnot, and they think, oh, well, this could be a real thing. So then they make an effort to try and think about what I'm telling them, and then I give them a couple more facts. And then they look into it. And if they're going to look into it, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't try to convince them right there.
And that's what we're doing. We're laying the foundation for other people out there to learn, or, you know, critique, because you're going to look at us and you're going to be like, I don't like the way this guy does this, but I love the way this guy. I hate the way this guy does it, but I love the way this guy, you know, this is good. That's why we're here. Like, we're here to sort of create a pool of information for you guys to pull from, to see what works for you, you know.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
You know, I think like you know, back in my working days, like having a goal, setting a goal, and like, so we're active. Like if we're activists mindset, then I'm not really going to try to like, I would love to get out there with my P900 that I bought and I still haven't used it, but I'm not like so scientific as other people, but I do want to do it, right? But my mindset and your mindset, and I think everyone here, we're like very activist oriented. So to me, like, you know, I like talking about this stuff, but I will enjoy more saying, well, the next meeting we have, each one of us picked up, like, we'll get a lot more accomplished almost if we treat ourselves not as employees. Because right now we're treating ourselves as workers.
Yep.
We're going out and we're being the worker.
Yep.
In terms of flat Earth, when I think maybe we should possibly start saying, well, I'm the owner of like this particular territory and this area, and I'm going to make a goal that within the end of this month, there's going to be 5 more active activists.
Yes.
Because when we do that, and then those people do it for a little while, and then they start to become their own owners. Because you know, like I always hated it in business when I would work, when I would be doing the work of a worker rather than managing the business. It was a perfect formula. Like I'm not all into growing anymore, but in this particular case, like it seems to me like I'm doing my old habit again, which is to be the, you know what I mean? And for me, like I just thought of this, but it seems to me like our number one goal or at least my number one goal is now should be taking the people who already know the Earth is flat and recruiting one person a month even, or I don't know.
Yeah,
but
so bringing up what you just said, this actually goes to the psychology aspect. I had this other study that I pulled up that it says, volunteer work is basically how volunteer work works. And they're saying that like people who are being paid to do something are not as motivated to actually see the job through with heart, but people who volunteer their services personally, because they're putting themselves, like they're putting their efforts on the line, they subconsciously sort of like strengthen their beliefs by saying, I enjoy doing this, and this feels right to me. And that's a core fundamental part of being a better person and improving yourself. That's why activism is so profound for people who learn about themselves. Is like when they put themselves in a situation where they're doing something for someone else with no payment, no monetary gain, no payoff. They're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. Then you get so much more out of it personally. You're going to get the peace of mind knowing that what you do means something and it matters and it makes a difference. Whereas when you do something financially, you might not think it makes a difference because you'll feel like maybe you financially didn't receive the amount of money that you felt you received, or so you'll always feel a loss rather than a gain. Whereas when you're in a position of you're volunteering this, it's a gain, like 100% gain. So just want to pull that up.
Yeah, but I'm not talking in terms of making his business or anything like that. I'm just saying.
No.
Like,
I was just saying.
I'm at the point now where, you know what? Like, if I don't come back at the next activist thing, if we want to do this again,
yes,
and have like another, like, say, I literally am responsible for bringing in another person who is going to be, even if they go out. I mean, how much can people go out even? I mean, and do this stuff. If you're working I'm not working. I'm not working a full-time job. It's freaking easy.
Okay.
Let me just say that because we're flat earthers, right? Like, we're not going to the movies. We're not hanging out at the mall. We're not doing all those things anymore. So what do we care about? Flat earth. So, I mean, we're just expressing our interests. Like, that's our new interest. We're interested.
So maybe, and you're right. And you're right. And you're right, Steve, because you know what? No, Max said it. He said, that's all he thinks about now. Literally,
yep.
This is the only thing I think about. And so you're right. If I was working, I'd probably on the weekends, or rather than going out and drinking like I used to do, I would be like, hey, man, I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying at this point, like if we all came back to the next meeting in 2 weeks and we all said we got one, I busted my ass trying to figure out how to find one more person. And then we came back and we introduced that person who said, I'm going out. Then that might inspire others. And again, that's how you're going to do your growth formula. I don't know whether I'm putting the horse before the cart, though, because if you don't have a group of people even believe the earth is flat, then who are you speaking to in the first place, I guess?
Right.
So maybe I'm looking for a needle in the haystack.
I think it's a good goal to set, David. And that could be a challenge to all of us on this panel to try to get someone else to join us in activism and make them, training them. I think activists need training because I was in marketing and sales and I wrote manuals and I did all that stuff. So I know how to do this. So I should be able to train somebody else to do this too. So I think it's a good challenge. What do you think, guys? Should we make it all a challenge to see if we can't at least get one more activist going?
Oh yeah, always 24/7. Yep. Yeah.
You can certainly pray about it, but I mean, people have to want to do it. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of material out there, and I get called a lot of names, and some people aren't ready for that. And for me, having the Holy Spirit guide me and understanding that, I'm sharing a message that is beyond me, people can't grasp that.
Right.
And in my opinion, if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you do it twice, this isn't for me, man. I'm done. I can't handle this.
Yeah, you
Good
definitely
for
have
you,
to
Josh,
have to have love for people to do this.
So, and I've been stood up the last 3 times in a month.
Oh, that's tough.
So if people are going to tell me one thing and then they're going to do another for whatever reason and change their minds, that's that's disheartening. And I don't share where I'm going to do activism on the Minnesota Flat Facebook page anymore because this is what I'm doing in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
Is banging my
Gosh,
drum
man,
by myself.
Gosh, I hear you, but the thing is that I have seen your videos where you sat down with 1 or 2 other people. I forget their names. So it's happened. You've done it, bro. It's not always going to go perfectly, but the fact is you have had people join you. I've seen them, right?
Yeah, Dave. I think you're missing my point.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're going to do something and then not do it.
Yeah.
Don't
Right,
tell me
but-
you're going to come out and then not tell me you're going to come out, and I'm assuming that you're going to be here, and it's 7:00 at night.
Yeah, well,
and
we've
I don't hear
all.
from you.
Oh,
we've
well,
all
maybe,
experienced that,
maybe
like
what about just going with the mindset that you're always going to be alone? Like for me, it's not, like once it got to a certain point with Marilyn, like, I felt bad calling her up on Friday. She wanted to go out to Princeton this past Friday, and I wimped out again. So I kind of, did that to her. But like in my mind, I kind of when I started with Marilyn, I was like, if you show up, you show up. You don't, you don't. I'm going to be here regardless because that's what I want to do. And then if they don't show up, no biggie. I'm doing what I want to do. I love going out there. And
I get it. But I'm just telling you my perspective.
Yeah.
Again,
And-
I think that people might be missing the point. And this
It is a
goes for
struggle.
everything. This goes for life. Don't tell
Yeah.
somebody you're going to do something and then not do it, and then not tell them that you're not going to do it.
yeah.
Well,
That's all.
maybe something that we used to do was if I have somebody who can make it, then you go pick them up. I'm not saying that anybody should do this. This was just a suggestion that was made to us. If you're going to a meeting, go pick up that person and take them with you. And that's one way you can make sure that they will come. So that's just a suggestion.
That's true. That's
All
true.
I know is that
No,
you guys.
that
All I'm
makes a lot
saying
of
is that
sense.
you guys.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that wouldn't it be cool if, like, let's say we have another one of these conversations and we make it like our goal is each to somehow find. Maybe it's by asking, like, on your videos, guys. On every single video, I am begging. If you're watching my video and you want to be a subscriber and you're live in my area, come and visit me for one time and join me, because that is literally going to like if we don't ask. They always say in sales, if you don't ask for the sale, you ain't going to make the freaking sale.
Now
That's it.
remember the psychology aspect that I just pointed out. If you're going to point that out, you got to say because it's the right thing to do, not because everybody else is doing it. Because obviously not. everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make. I'm not
Yeah.
asking.
No,
you
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want people to do what they don't want to do. I just.
Yeah, I'm bringing that up
I
because
think it is important for every flat earther to do street activism at least once.
Yeah.
That's it. I've had a couple of guys come up meet with me and do it once or twice.
How can you not do it once?
And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. And you can walk away, shake hands, and everything is kosher.
I remember walking
Again,
in.
don't tell me you're going to do something and then not do it.
Right.
And
Right,
leave
but-
me hanging.
Josh, listen. We all have experienced.
The people who know who I'm
Right.
talking.
Right. I'm appealing. I'm trying to cheer you up here. I say, look, it's
I'm
disheartening.
cheered. I'm fine. I got coffee here on Sunday. I mean,
It's so disheartening to deal with
I
this.
can't talk in a stern voice.
No.
I was happy.
I was just about to agree with you. I have a friend that is on my text thread and always says we're gonna meet up. We're gonna go to the next meetup. We're gonna do this, and then the meetup comes and it's like, oh, I have this going on, and it's like, no, you've known about the meetup and you know it's on the same day all the time, and then they just brush it off like it's no big deal, and they'll get the next one, and it's like, yeah, I feel your frustration because it's like some people they need to just like realize, hey, the Earth is freaking flat, so whatever else you're doing, you think is
All right, guys. Flat Earth Fisherman said
It's
he's
not.
in New York.
It's
Tell me
not.
the next time you're in New York City.
Bam.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm heading to New York City, Flat Earth Fisherman. Let's figure out a day here. All right.
I'm going to
Sorry.
write that down because we might be coming up to Hoboken.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
there
you're
you
good.
go.
Good.
You know what I mean? Flat Earth said he's interested, I think.
But that's what we're stressing here is what else is more important than the message? Like the Earth is flat. you're either going to do something about it or you're not. And if you're not going to do something about it, don't pull us along for the ride. You know that you have a struggle, and we all have a struggle doing this. So either you're going to man up and do it, or you're not going to do it. And that's just my perspective, is that those of you out there who are saying, oh, I'm going to do it one day, I'm going to do it one day, well, then that is exactly what you're living up to. Yeah.
Say tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow never comes.
Do it now.
Flat Earth Fisherman. My email's david@dbchocolate.com. Flat Earth Fisherman, and anybody else who wants to contact me in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or New York area, and I will buy a if you come out with me and you say you're going to want to do it again afterwards, I'll leave a banner. You can have a banner for yourself, and I'll do that for other people too.
Yes, Mac is next. Go ahead, Mac.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. You know, Josh has been doing this a long time. I remember watching his videos downtown Minnesota, just with a sign. People are driving by, calling him names. You know, and I agree. People don't have accountability. Doesn't matter if you're a flat earther or not. The honeymoon phase is over for a lot of people, and they don't see it now. They're back into their thing, and I agree. There's very little accountability, and I agree with our meetups. People show up once, and then there's so many of them that don't come back. Well, what are they doing? Are they going back and being okay with their slavedom and getting back with their life? People, are socially engineered that people can't imagine and think, or if they are imagining something, they're out in la la land. I mean, we need to envision things. I can't find the right vocabulary, but you know what I mean. To see the possibilities of how this could be, and they don't see like what's involved, that the effort that they need to make. And a lot of people want to sit back and live vicariously through us, watch our videos. Oh, that guy's flat smacking, that was great. Well, what did you do? Very few times do we see comments, man, I did this, I hit up, I flat smacked my boss, or I got the so-and-so. And when it comes to activism, I appreciate all the all the positivity, and we need that. But there comes a time that there is going to be a burnout from it, and we have to really look realistically. Like if I go to the beach, or we're somewhere in a busy place with our sign, we have to see that for what it is, and all that is planting a seed for somebody, because we're not going to convert them right there. We're hoping to get the gears turning. I'd say 99% of the time, they're just going to leave and forget about it, because that's what they're indoctrinated to do. Right. We're just in this hamster in the hamster wheel. So a little bit, the hamster wheel stopped, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. But then they get back on the hamster wheel. What we have to look at and evaluate ourselves is look at our personal relationships, how many people we actually talk to for 1 hour, for 2 hours, and how we really laid down the globe deception and gave them so many flat earth truths. Now, what are they doing? So we have to think realistically about that. I'm not saying we should give up our activism, because that's the only way. That's our only chances. We have to keep planting the seed, but we have to be really realistic of what's happening, and then also understanding this honeymoon, like people get over this honeymoon phase of flat earth, and there's only a few that are like us, that the desire is burning inside of us, where we need to speak this, and we have a purpose on why we need to speak this.
Right.
And that just comes with time. And that I understand totally what Josh is saying. He's still out there, but he's been doing it for so long and reached so many tens of thousands of people, with his signs and being downtown and football games. He should have an army of 500, 1,000 people joining with him if what we did was extremely effective. But realistically, we have to look at it. It's not really. It's a small. We're going for that small. We're digging a big mountain for a little ounce of gold, and that's what we're doing. And we have to look at it that way and understand that's what's happening. And that's a realization I'm having after a year of, talking about it. And we're gonna lose friends, family. People don't want to hang out with us. People don't want to talk to us. And we're the only ones that are standing tall. So I understand why people don't want to do it, because I've talked about it a million times in my videos. It's cowardice. People don't want to feel alienated. So although the globe is a lie and flat earth is the truth, and we're enslaved and there is a creator, whatever it is, people are still weak and do not want to feel alienated. So they're not going to do it. But we have something inside of us that makes us still want to speak the truth. And that
Yeah.
we're just different. We're just different. Like Josh says, not everybody has it in them. The truth is not inside them ready to explode out. It's just a sad reality of human nature. And we have to appreciate that the controllers or whatever they have done a fantastic job of really enslaving humanity and closing their thinking and their ability to kind of see amazing possibilities. What could be if this wasn't? But even if they understand the globe is a lie, they come back to, well, we need government. Who's going to build the roads? Who's going to build the hospitals? All this kind of nonsense is still inside their head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. You hit it on the head, man. That was exactly what's going on. Like you said before, emotional cowardness. Like they're being emotional cowards. They don't want to face themselves or the situation, so they create or devise a world that's circular so that they can just continue on their path and then they can just come back to it later. And that's their way of coping with it. When in actuality, it's like it needs to be dealt with right now. Like you have those.
Aren't they like in a hopeless situation? Aren't they people with
yeah. But that's the point, is that the activism thing, that's what we're trying to stress, is that's the empowering side. Like the hopelessness is the people who are putting it off and not going out there and speaking up. They're the ones putting themselves in that situation where they are hopeless. If they went and spoke up, they would feel that empowerment, and that empowerment would give them the strength to do what they do. And they just expect it to just come prior. It's like, no, when I first went out and did activism, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I felt like a fool. I felt foolish. And it wasn't until like the third or fourth time that I did it where like the foolishness just faded, and all of a sudden I felt strong in what I was doing. I felt right, I saw the truth of what we were doing.
It just takes one person to say, hey, this is cool, or I'll look into it, and then you just know it gives you energy to move on.
Yeah, it's so empowering just to meet somebody who even like wants to hear what you have to say and actually receives your words and gives good responses too. That doesn't just brush you off as an idiot or a fool, So those are the moments that are going to give you the strength, not the moments where you see that the road ahead of you is too long. Like of course it's not going to make you feel encouraged to do this. Like Joshua said, it's not easy doing this stuff, but why are we doing it? Ask yourself that. Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Why did we do it a few times and just kept going? What made us keep going? What was it that is keeping us holding on to continually do this? And I think it's obvious once you do it. When you don't do it, it's not obvious. But until you go out there and you do it, you're going to see for yourself why this is so important. It's so vital.
And that's why I wanted to get Dave out last Friday, because I know it gives me great joy to do this. And I wanted Dave to get out there and get some back that he wasn't getting.
Get some love, yeah.
Well, for me, one of the reasons why I do it is because it's a testimony against this world. It's to show and to reveal to people that there's something wrong with this place. And if you can continually live in this place in a passive manner and think that our children's children are going to have to continue to live in a world where they get to choose at 5 years old whether they're a male or a female, there is something wrong with this world. And I care about human beings enough to know that if this continues the way that it is, we will not be here in 200 years. And if we are, we will be manufactured in a laboratory, and we will not be given birth in a natural way. And that's demonic. So my testimony when I go out is to show people that there's something wrong with this world. And that is exactly what this world doesn't want. It wants people to go along to get along.
Exactly. And just to even put that out even more, those of you who felt this your entire life, that lived in this world and that have known that this ain't right, this ain't the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's obvious why we're doing this. We all feel very strongly about that. And if you do feel strongly about that, then I encourage you to act, to do something, because that is the most important thing, is that we're living in a world that's just completely obtuse to the way it's supposed to be lived, and we gotta stop it. We gotta put an end to it. And I don't want to go on living a lie. That's my whole thing. I don't want to continue on the world of a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm doing this because this is, you know, and it's all these social stigmas and crap. Man, screw all that. We don't have to live this way, guys. Like, we don't. Just wake up.
So yesterday I had a nice long conversation with a woman, Karen, down in Florida, and she wants to start activism. So I said I'd be there for her, and I encouraged her in several ways. And I'm also going to be putting up, I have 2 videos up now on activism tools on my channel, things you can use in your activism. And watching us doing it, that certainly is encouraging, and you can learn how to, you know, handle certain situations. And Steve, you want to explain your little idea of what we
Yeah. So basically, I'm just learning about like YouTube's new hashtag feature and how it works. But I'm starting to kind of see how it works. So basically, when you do your hashtag, it kind of compiles it all up into one search. So for instance, like my hashtag Flat Earth Activism, if you were to type that in, it would just pull up 99% of all the videos that I've posted that pertain to flat earth activism. And what I suggested is coming up with a sort of hashtag for activism techniques. And what we can do is anybody out there who does activism that feels that they can add a little something to the flavor, hit it with that hashtag. That way, anybody who's interested into doing activism can click on that hashtag and also see other styles and other people who are doing it and techniques and stuff like that. It's just a good way to compile along. I mean, there'll be other ways we can do our own personal playlists and stuff, but an added bonus, you know, it might be favored in YouTube just because nobody else really uses it, so it could work to our benefit. So just putting that out there.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely. I like the idea of compiling sort of like, you know, do's and don'ts techniques and such, you know, just for people who are just starting this. Like I said, you know, picking a key location, that's troublesome. Like when I first started doing it, we were picking the worst, you know, like it was like, oh, that's not good because it's too loud. How are we going to talk? Or, you know, stuff like that. And once you kind of like, we've learned that, so maybe we can pass on the knowledge to you guys so that you don't make the same mistakes that we did. I mean, hey, by all means, make mistakes because that's going to make you stronger at this. But, you know, if you can learn something from us, that's awesome too. So
Yeah, I think that, you know, this is my opinion, obviously, but I think if you have an option to go to a park or a lake where people are just chilling out, that is probably like one of the prime spots to get people. They're more relaxed. They're probably not going to be in like the attacking mode, and you're allowing them to come to you as they're walking around. Hey, you know, I've been walking for like 15 minutes. I need a break. Maybe I'll just talk to this flat earther, you know. But if you want to be challenged, go to a college, you know, stand outside the science museum, go to Comic-Con like I did last year. If you are going to get ridiculed and mocked and made fun of and called names a lot more than you may at a park. But if you want to be challenged, I think that there's a degree of levels that, you know, you're picking your place to go. If you go like they did last night with Flat Earth Dude, they were out in Hollywood Square. You know, if you have a big ensemble set up and you're prepared and whatnot, it's going to look more professional, you know. But if you're going to be one, maybe 2 or 3 people out at a particular place, people like numbers. So if you're able to have a couple of people and be able to present, then when you have 6 people show up all at once, you're able to break the class up and talk to them. So
exactly. That is.
All right. So on the 22nd is the equinox. That's this Saturday morning. And I'm putting out a request for everyone who will give me the location of the sunrise, wherever you are, because I'm involved with this science strike group, and they've invited me to, you know, join in with their experiment. And they said that everywhere on Earth, everyone will see the sunrise due east on the equinox. Now, I don't know how that is going to work. I can't imagine, but I would like to gather all the data from flat earthers around the world and north and south and all, so we can get really good data that I could trust. So on the 22nd, just give me your degrees of where the sun rises. You can get a compass for $4 at Walmart. So I'd love you to participate in that.
Is there a link that we can post in the chat below later to?
Well, if you just get it to me or tell me, you know, then I can get that. I don't have the links yet.
We'll put like an email in. How's that?
Okay, you can give
Cool.
my email. That's fine. Or my Facebook page, or put it on my YouTube, anything.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll put a link down below that explains that, where you can join.
Thank you. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. The other thing is, there's on my YouTube channel, there's a video that I uploaded about, and mirror, I guess they call it mirroring, I don't know, about it's called Twitter's censorship of conservatives violates First Amendment. So it's by Rebel Media, and it's 4 minutes long, and it talks about Marsh versus Alabama, free speech. And Marsh was a Jehovah's Witness, and Alabama was, there was a town that was owned by a shipping company, but it looked like a town, and it had sidewalks and everything. And this Marsh guy wanted to go and pass out his religious literature, and the shipping company wanted to ban him from the streets. And that 1940s something case in the Supreme Court said, no, anywhere it looks like a public square, whether it's privately owned or not, you have to be able to have free speech. Any perceived public square. So I'm going to be hitting shopping malls this winter, and I'm going to be checking that out. So if we have that ammunition, and everybody go on my YouTube and look that up. I think I renamed it as Public Square Defined. So if you don't find it on mine, you can and look it up at the original.
We'll also put another link down below for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. The other thing I wanted to mention was A Plain Truth from is he in Maryland or something? A Plain Truth. He made the suggestion of doing a flash mob with Christmas carols with new flat earth lyrics. You know why that's so clever? It's because hymns are not copyrighted.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's not a copyright strike. So I made up all the hymns, and and there's this guy named Zane who is always putting up little rhymes on my YouTube videos. And I know he's done it to other people too. So
yeah, Zane's amazing.
He should make up some lyrics to these Christmas carols, and anyone else who can do that, pick a Christmas carol, and that would get copyright striked.
Yeah, Zane can have a Christmas album, Flat Earth.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
Everybody should do it, even if it's the same tune. Just make them all up. It's really great.
As long as he downs Christmas itself too at this point. No,
screw Christmas. Yeah.
It's a new way for us to look at it.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm telling you, there are hymns already that mention creation and all that. So let me see. Anything else? Evolution. There's two things: the curvature and evolution. Those are my last two things. Am I okay to go ahead with this? All right.
Go for it. Go for it.
Evolution. We know evolution is a lie. Okay. And I was a creationist, and I argued with people against evolution for several years before I became a flat earther. So I've been a creationist for maybe longer than some of you have been alive. But so evolution teaches us that we used to be cavemen and really stupid like animals before now we're getting smarter, when just exactly the opposite is true. We used to be very intelligent, and we are getting dumbed down. Okay.
Yep.
Not by our genetics so much as by our teaching and by how they're planning
Like
our.
social engineering.
Yes, yes, Mac, that's right. So that might be another reason why people can't get this. Well, if it was really flat, they would know this. You know, we would know that by now. And you know, no, they don't understand because they're thinking backwards. Okay. And the other thing I'll just touch on is curvature. I've been getting that a lot on my videos where they say, well, do you take a protractor and just go 1 degree? Do you see curvature in that? I'm there. Well, yeah, okay. So if you make the legs of the protractor as long as the radius of the Earth, yeah, I think you'd see it pretty clearly. But that's what they try to suck you in an argument like that, and don't go down that road with them. You know, they try to get you on the 1% and the 1 degree. And it's like,
there was a video that I don't know who, I'll have to find the link for it, that they just put out. There was a faked curvature video that was going around for years, and it was finally debunked as CGI. So go figure. And what they were using is a video layering style to create curve, and it's just like stacking an infinite shot. So you know, you're looking at a shot, and if you tilt it a certain way, it creates an infinity shot, and that's where you get the curvature from. So they used the power lines as reference, and then somebody actually went there, and then they discovered that the power lines are not that close together. They're actually further apart, and they wouldn't line up in that exact same way. So that even proves that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
So
that couldn't be
the
Poncho.
yes, it was. It was. Yeah.
Yep.
That's, I mean, I can't believe people, they buy into that, but
yeah. I saw it. I knew it was
it's
bogus.
biased.
Yeah.
You know,
it only came from one source, you know, and it was like,
right.
you know, this one video. It's like, well, nobody else is. It doesn't exist anywhere else, you know.
And it's from somebody who's notably against
Anti-flat Earth.
You know,
Go
and
figure.
yeah, so you know, but that's the thing though, is like if new people coming into flat Earth, or that I hear about it and they want to do their due diligence and look into flat Earth, that's the type of stuff that they're gonna fall for, and
Yep.
that'll keep them in bondage for another couple of months. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yep.
And if people are looking for something to debunk flat Earth, they will find it, and they will find what their bias is in their heart, and it will lead them astray for a couple of months, and they will be in the desert. So I mean, that's when our Creator is just allowing them to process the information and discern truth and a lie. And if they want to believe in a lie, he will allow a lie to be presented.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, they want to be deceived, and they will be deceived. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. What else? I do want to talk about this topic, so we don't get too far off of what we've been talking about, which is obviously activism. What else can we talk about? Other forms of activism, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is we did bring this up before, but there are some new ideas out there. So I wanted you guys to kind of touch on this too, and see if you had any other ideas that you wanted to add to the recipe of activism. So I wanted to talk about this. I personally have a history as a graffiti artist, and in Chicago there are these walls that basically anybody can go paint. They're just sort of like, you know, free to do murals. Some of them you have to get permission from the crew that's running the show, because there's a sort of etiquette for dealing with graffiti artists in Chicago apparently. But what's great is that I have access to all these places, and I can go out and I can do all sorts of amazing things. And you know, I've been doing it for years, since I was like 16 years old, and I'm fairly really good at it, doing murals and stuff like that. I even used to be paid for it. So my idea was a new form of activism is doing. I'm going to do a bunch of flat Earth themed murals, and I'm going to place them in different parts of Chicago. And then every one that I do, I'll do like an episode on my RealmWalker channel where I'll actually do a time lapse of this event. And this is just an idea, you know, for other people out there who have ideas to do activism. And I mean, this just to kind of give you guys a, you know, whatever you're good at and whatever your craft, you know, is a part of, like if you're in the music industry or whatever, I mean, there's lots of people who are doing activism in that sense too. So there are avenues. You know, it doesn't have to be speaking to people directly. It could be speaking from the heart, or from art, or from whatever it is that you do. So that was just my little tidbit I wanted to add. See if you guys had anything to add. So what do you guys think? Do you have any awesome activism ideas? Nobody?
No,
This is why it's so hard, right?
no, that is a good idea. But like, again, like, you know, we spoke about billboards.
Yes.
Why don't we like, I mean, you know, it takes freaking money to do this stuff.
Right.
And maybe we start off by leading the pack or something. I don't know who can, but I have no problem donating some money. My problem is that the billboard company doesn't want to deal with me anymore for whatever reason. So, I mean, I'll help with, I have 2 people that I know, but they already told me no. So, I don't know who wants to do that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I have a connection with Clear Channel here in Minneapolis. We put a billboard up. It was $1,200 for 1 week, 7 seconds, and it had like, you know,
electronics like crazy.
$5 or $6, you know, 5 or 6 other ads on it. So
yeah, we can do. Hey, Josh, we can do. I think I mentioned this to you. I'm not sure if you were in this conversation, but you can buy leftover billboards, unsold inventory, and they're not as big, right? They're like those, you know, they're like 20 feet by like maybe 15, 20 feet high. You can get those for $500, right? And the kicker is that if they don't sell that space for like another 6 months, it will stay up for freaking 6 months. So like, that's literally how we made our business successful. Was using the leftover inventory, because you get so much freaking bang for your buck. Now you're not going to have it on the interstate highway, but you got, like, whoever does it, if you want to go, they will do it. At CBS, I'm sure they have unsold inventory. They got it all over. I mean, we used to pick from freaking hundreds of them.
okay,
So
yeah.
all you gotta do is you ask for that unsold inventory, because it's such a good deal, dude.
Yeah, it was
$100. We could do one of them.
I mean, when we were going through our billboard phase as Flat Earthers last year, we had Denver and Oregon. I think they had one in the East Coast. So, and here in Minnesota, we were able to put one up during the state fair. So,
I don't know why they wouldn't sell it to me. Like, I think it was because I had my own website for Truth. And maybe if I just say it's going to be generic flat, but even your Flat Earth 101, I wonder if that will work. But I would be fine with it. I'm done with my own website anyway. So maybe I think I burned a bridge with them when I was pissed off when they wouldn't sell it to me. So
I'll look into it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that goes along with what Steve was saying with the graffiti. I mean, it's the same thing basically. He's getting free space. It's, more places you can do it. That's
exactly.
perfect.
And then that was the thing, is like, you know, some things were going to require money, some things might not. And the more minds are on this, the more people who can come up with really fun and interesting ways to get this message out. I think the better the platform is going to be for activists in the future too. So, I mean, yeah, like what Dave was talking about with the billboard thing, I do like the physical paper versus the digital, because like he said, if they don't sell that space, it's going to run a little bit longer. So that's an added bonus.
Always does, dude. Almost always.
One thing, we were talking about, psychology earlier, and, maybe here's an idea about psychology is if the public sees a billboard on the interstate, that's mainstream to them. So if you're putting a Flat Earth billboard together that looks legit, like the Coronation Street bit that they did about Flat Earth, that was pretty decent. I mean, that was pretty decent. Shane Dawson, he did a decent overlay of Flat Earth. At the end they run it to be globe biased, and they say, okay, in psychology, they forget about everything we just said the last 5 minutes, it's still a globe. Or why do you think that is? Oh, because gravity. But if we're able, it does cost money, and it's not going to be, months and months and months. But if people see on an interstate here in downtown Minneapolis a billboard talking about the seriousness of Flat Earth, that's mainstream to people. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but Josh, these are real billboards. They're just not the 40-foot billboards. They're not going to diminish, I don't think, the power. They're like, maybe you don't have them in your area, but they're like local billboards that when you're driving down your local highway, which maybe still gets 60,000 cars a day, You're picking these things up. You can now you're actually that's probably not true. Like a lot of the times they're in little like maybe not the perfect area, but they're real billboards, and you can it's not going to look like somebody hand drew it. So
and obviously the key factor here is financial means. So we got to figure out a way to pool our resources to make these events happen, to get these billboards up too. I mean, or like Josh said, we need a level of professionalism to what we're doing. So I think it's our jobs, I guess, now, since we're the ones talking about it, because it's like you bring up an idea, you got to follow through, right? So we have to figure out a way to sort of like what Fokker was saying, get some organization into the program side of it, like letting people know that the Earth is flat, like by doing like sort of like maybe a billboard, advertisement campaign that reaches multiple states, and then maybe we can get that pulled into one funding, or we can just do individual crowdfunding for each state. I think we do need to narrow that down.
Josh, you know what? Honestly, if we're going to do it, I don't care what state it goes in, wherever it is, it's like one billboard gives you a little bit of visibility. Two, it doesn't give you two billboards worth of visibility. It gets you like four billboards worth of, as you have like when we would do it, I would rent like 40 or 50 billboards sometimes at a time. And what happens is people see it freaking everywhere, right? Or they think they're seeing it everywhere. So we don't have to go to that level. But if we could get 10 billboards in an area, you're going to pick them up. It's going to cost like $6,000 with all in. And maybe those 10, maybe half of them will be up for a few months. And then at that point, in a certain region, though, because if you spread 10 billboards out across the country, you might as well not even do it in a way, because they're not getting that. They
have to be within range.
Yeah, there's a branding that takes place.
Yeah, because people can't see just one; they have to see multiple of them to get it. Yeah.
And so I don't care where it goes. I don't care. I just know that if we did it, we're going to get wherever it is. If we could, I would really love to do that, man. I'll put in like $1,000 towards it. I don't even freaking care.
That does sound like the way to go. I like that idea, and it's going to take some research too. So, I mean, it's either going to fall on our hands, where we're going to go out and research these locations ourselves, or somebody else who's really good with this kind of stuff can join in and help us out. But I mean, we're just asking for help. The best thing to do is to lead by example. So, I guess we have to start pooling our resources together and figuring out the best practices and zones of locations to start that fundraising campaign for. So focusing our efforts,
Government Lies just wrote like, why not buy radio spots? Well, we could try, man. I don't know if they're gonna sell them. I don't trust the media. I talked to them. I used to deal with New Jersey PST in our business, and I spoke to those guys, and he was like, leave me alone. Like, he gave me a real blow off. But radio works good with the billboards too.
What about podcasts? How does that work too? Do they do it? Do they run ads and stuff like that? And obviously they would probably even talk about it, But it's good coverage regardless. It's talking about flat Earth. Is there a way to, get paid promotion on, some of these more popular podcasts, or, maybe even the conspiracy podcasts, or, because I mean, it's already on Truth Frequency and all that, but I'm sure there's other groups or organizations out there that are just as popular.
Well, I mean, shit, we have freaking, look at YouTube here. You would, if they weren't hiding us, you'd probably be getting your message out. So
right.
That's what, that's why I would love to find out whether we could do a radio also ad. Radio ads aren't they're about the same price for the same reach as and to be able to talk flat Earth. I don't think they'd sell you the time. I really don't think they'd sell it to you. I would love for somebody to call local radio and try it.
And I think they only take in brands that express what their views are anyway. So, I mean, we probably wouldn't get much. That's why I'm thinking, like, there's got to be a niche that we could slide in, maybe a free speech network.
Maybe with the billboards.
Maybe like a free speech, radio show that's all about free speech. And then if they turn you down, you can always be like, hey, man, you're going against your free speech, bro. What happened to the free speech love?
Yeah, right.
Well, that a good one?
That's what it'll be.
Yeah, we hit those guys hard, and we say, hey, we socially pressure them into supporting flat Earth. How's that?
Well, you know, another
Anybody
thing
buying that?
that you can like it would be interesting if you were good if we go to YouTube channels that are popular, because like that dude Shane Dawson that Josh brought up, I met so many young people who just because of his social proof of him bringing that up, were like, yeah, we're so interested in flat Earth.
Yeah.
So that could be maybe a stronger, more effective thing would be to advertise, pay to advertise this stuff on particular YouTubers who are influential and who are, who that have that type of social influence.
Okay, yeah, that actually does sound good. That sounds awesome. So hey, look, other forms of activism. We've come up with so much, and I think we've elaborated on them in such a great deal that people out there should be getting wise to how they can attribute their own ideas to the situation and make things better. So, Fokker, question, my man, my brother.
Yeah.
So you're
Go
going
ahead.
to the Denver conference? Is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't. I wanted to, and I had the whole wedding thing, and it kind of put me in a weird scenario. I do want to make it a point to at least go up there and go back. I got to fix my car first before I do that. But I do want to talk to you more about that because you're not buying a ticket. You're just like going to crash the event, basically, right?
Well, I'm not gonna crash it. I want to support Robbie. Like I don't know the exact financials, but I've been through some tough financial times, so I missed the early bird pricing on Edmonton and Denver, and I still really want to go. So I went to Denver. I found a cheap flight. There's a new airline. It was like $80 return. And for Denver, I bought some tickets. I just want to go meet people. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
crashing. I mean, I don't want to.
No. I mean, you're not going to go and sneak inside. I get that, but what I meant was like, because I can't afford the ticket right now. I wanted to go, but I really can't afford it. So I was like, well, maybe I could afford the gas there and back, and just make it like a go there and just turn around and come back kind of thing.
Didn't Robbie comp you tickets? Weren't you telling me he invited you?
He didn't comp me. He invited me and then told me that he'd give me a good deal. But I can't take that deal because I can't afford the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I do feel bad, but I mean, I just want to go hang out with other flat earthers. So if you can figure a way to just get the gas, there's a couple of people that offered me, the floor on their room. So I mean, they might be open to that. Just get the gas out there. I know Mikey wants to drive down. He's in the chat. He's going to sleep in his car maybe if he doesn't get a place. I don't know what Josh is doing, but I can find a cheap motel like couple of blocks away as well, right? So
yeah.
But I think it's important. Like when I've been to Raleigh and Edmonton, I just that vibration of the people is so much higher. You just have this feeling like it's so worth making that trip. I mean, when we can't see it unless we're there, unless we actually experienced it, we cannot conceptualize what that feeling is and how important that is just to re-energize and charge ourselves. We're getting beat down all the time. Like, we're getting looks, or we're losing friends and family. So I think for me, it's important. And somehow I was able to make it work. I looked at flight tickets for 2 months, almost every day, hoping there would be a good deal. And then finally I was like, wow, I just decided to check air miles. I had enough air miles. And then I got a $700 flight for $150, right? So I don't need to check a bag in. It's only for a few days. I'm not going to pay the $25. You know what I mean? So make it happen. Like if you can. I know it's October. It's less than 2 months. It's 2 months away, I think, in a couple of days. So I don't know how far the drive is, but try to figure out some way to get there. And
I think I can do it. I can probably even turn it into like a little trip for me and my wife. She's looking at me like, no. Financially, I don't know, maybe, but we'll figure it out. I have to figure this out. But like you said, I have a need to connect with some of you guys because it's like, look, we're all doing this and, we're all in our own little corner, but I would love to spend, 20 minutes with Josh and with you and with Marilyn and with Zoom. Like that would be so amazing just to be able to be in person, face to face with the very people that we're connecting and working with. And I don't know if it's an
I'd rather
opportunity.
go out
for
there
that.
and freaking shake some people up, man. I
Yeah.
don't even talk about this shit anymore. Come on. You know what I mean? Let's you know, come on, you guys.
Well, you know, I mean, you gotta have love because this is the thing. It's
Okay,
like we're family. We're family. You know.
No, I'm
like-
with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, you know, that I would rather spend my time being out there, like with Marilyn, when we're together, man. I just like being like, you know, it's fun watching her wake people up. I mean, that's why people like watching this stuff, I think.
Yeah, maybe we should meet up out there and just do like one big epic flat smack, just like the whole crew. We all get together and we just make it happen. We just pick a spot and then just go flat smacking all together. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, what is halfway between like Josh and now Mac, he's really far out there.
Denver's halfway.
Denver is kind of halfway. It's sort of like the middle of the United
But
States.
like Josh and Steve and over here we have Dave and me. So what's halfway between us guys? Maybe meet
Midwest or
maybe in March or something. I don't know. I'm up for a meeting like that.
we can plan something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. And not only that, but we should try, you know, you build it up for months and there is no freaking cost. And the point of it isn't to go talk about shit we already know. The point of it is to make a big spectacle in as big of a place and as busy of a place as possible. So you planned it around a huge event, and then you go and you attack that event in terms of with flat Earth being in everybody's faces. And, you know,
flat Earth them in the face.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if we were all do that, and we were, and so we got 50 people on here now. We plan. I mean, look, how much do they really do? I mean, who knows how they got, you know, if we were to spend the money on promoting the next get together, but it's not a what a meeting to talk about this stuff. It's a meeting to freaking go in there and quote
flat smack,
quote, yeah, or however you want to do it,
or whatever you call
the
it.
biggest event that we can pollute with the right message.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, Marilyn made a good point. I don't understand, like, these conferences. Flat Earthers are going there, and the first one was great for us to go there. But, I mean, we talked about this. It's exactly what you can find on YouTube. There's no next step. And that's what we need to do. It's great to have a big hangout, but spending all this money for a big hangout, there needs to be, like I talked about earlier, planning, organization, or whatever. You get 500 people there. We should be talking about what to do next, not talking about more proofs.
Well,
Right.
that's why I like.
Or you know what? Do you imagine this? If we had as many people who go to a flat Earth conference, how many people go? A couple hundred? Okay, so you have a couple hundred people. They're marching down one of the biggest, whatever the biggest thing that you can find, and each one of those person has a huge banner. Each one of them people has stuff to hand out, and we all meet there, bro. All of us like forget about like the stupid news media freaking who makes fun of the flat Earth conference anyway, and they show you these biased reports.
When it comes to making waves, I mean, the first conference that they had. FE Corps was announced, and that was like an amazing thing, you know, because it's like we got a scientific group, people who are actually going to start defining, reality.
What are they putting out? I don't know.
Well, they got a bunch of experiments that they're doing, and they have made ways with like Wi-Fi or something like that. Experiments.
Hey, we have enough content now. We have enough to get out there and grow our numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
The next step is activism now, because that's the new step. Because like we have the science, we have the information, the education. So now it's like, where do we go from here? You know,
we have to push these big
like we know
channels.
that.
We have to push these channels that aren't doing anything, and these organizations. I mean, I got nothing. I love all of them. Gary, Robbie, Rob. I love all of them, but we need to be pressing them to push further.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, that's why we're here. We're here to apply pressure to the flat Earth community and say, hey, activism.
Well, why are you depending upon other people to do something? I didn't start last spring because I don't know, just because I wanted to be popular or something. I started because I wanted to do my own material and who I am, because I didn't trust everything that was out there.
Be your own authority.
So yeah, I don't have to, wait for somebody to jump on board or a main, Flat Earth channel to promote my stuff.
My only objection, to conferences is that we have limited resources. So if everybody's going to put their resources into going to a conference like that, it would have cost me $600 in a motel room had I not stayed at a friend's house 30 minutes away down in the Carolinas. So if I'm going to put my resources into something, I wanted to go and meet the people at the conference, but I expected it to have a more visionary goal, and there's no future goal stated. It's only just going over what was going on.
I think it's what we discovered so far. We understand the education was already understood, and now we're like, okay, we need to speak up and get that message out. So we're developing this message as we speak. Like, this is the new frontier. We're like we were talking yesterday, like, this is uncharted waters. Like, we're, people like Joshua has been doing this for a while. He's the captain right now because he's the guy who's got the keys to all the experiences. We're looking at him and learning about ourselves.
Yeah, hey, Josh, Steve, seriously, I didn't mean to say, like, listen, if people want to go solo, that's fine. I told Marilyn when she got together, she was like, hey, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. And I'm like, Marilyn, I want to do things my way, or I really don't want to join you. She wanted me to use her banners and all that crap. I'm not saying like I want to be in charge of anything. I have no freaking interest in it. I'd like to live my own life, and not even do any of this crap. But
exactly.
But I enjoy it. I mean, if everyone else was awake and wasn't intruding on my own life. But the fact is that if you really want to have an impact, the bigger the impact that we can make, the quicker this shit ends. And in my head, like, strength in numbers. And if you had 500 people walking down, we closed down a city, all the streets, and we pissed people off. Great. Let's, more power to us at that point. And let's draw the more attention, because either the news media would have to show this to which would then give us the exposure really that you're looking for. That was the whole. I mean, I was happy. I got that one video, Max Millionaire one. He has 200,000 views of me getting freaking blasted by the police. That's a victory. I mean, I hate them for it, but
the message is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what Dave is saying is not far-fetched. I used to belong to a patriot group, and we went down and we protested in front of the Philadelphia Federal Reserve building. And it was called End the Fed. It was a rally. And I would suspect there was 30 of us. And we all took flags and banners after we had speeches done. And we marched down the middle of the street around City Hall and back again. We had that whole city like in lockdown. And that's what sometimes you need to do to get attention. So I don't think what he's saying is far-fetched. Yeah.
And so, like, if what we should do, then maybe one of the things we should do is start promoting for 6 months from now. And we're going to promote every freaking video. Don't forget, on this date, this is going to be happening at this place. And then it'll happen and five of us will show up. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, if that's what we do and we promote it, I mean, hey, if they got 250 people to come to show up at a place where you have to spend like $500 to do it, maybe we could do twice as good. You get to 500 people showing up. Hey, man, I'll be willing to spend some money for banners and other crap to be able to get ready for that. And probably the people, rather than spending the money on for a room and fancy bullshit, they can spend that money to buy and bring with them materials and stuff that we're going to then hand out to in one day hit 20,000 people.
And the proper motivator is it's what's right. So if we can get that message out to the people that this is the right thing to do, this is the obvious, correct way to be, nobody's going to ignore what's right. We all have that personal compass within ourselves. So we just need to bring that make that more apparent. We need to outline that more in what we're doing, what we're presenting. So always put out, you know, whenever we make a video or whatever, we should always put out the message that this is the right thing to do, and we know what's right. And, you know, people need to be represented with that message constantly, because that's the truth. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
You're doing wrong. You're doing harm on yourself and others by keeping this bottled in and maintaining your personal, you know, pleasureful life. Like, you're harming yourself. You're harming the people around you, the people you
can't
love.
even have a life. You can't have a life right now. There is no life.
Yeah.
There's no life right now.
So what are you doing? You know, the Earth's flat. What are you doing? You're sheltering your world around. You're hurting them. By not telling them, you're hurting them.
Yeah.
By not saying anything, people are complicit in the fraud and the evil that's going on.
Yep.
By people staying silent, they're allowing pedophilia to happen.
Crazy,
You know?
man.
Yes.
Yeah. They're
Hey.
working for the enemy, you know?
And we're crazy.
But so, you know, like God is, you know, we know deep inside of us that God is watching our actions, and we're spreading the truth, and that's why we're doing it. Unfortunately, a lot of people cannot think that big. That's been driven out of them. That's been pounded out of them. You know, they can't see the bigger picture, and like, you know, sure, morally be a nice person is good enough, but we gotta go bigger. Like, God gave us more strength inside to do more, to be bigger.
Right. So
think on a worldwide scale. Think on a helping humanity scale. I get it. Help the person next to you. We got to do that as well, but we got to think the whole world as well. And a lot of people have that driven out of them, where it just seems too big and it seems unattainable. And that's what that fire that people need to find again. And unfortunately, the majority of the people, whether the globies or flat earthers, I mean, that's unfortunately been
like Marilyn says, Mac. Like Marilyn says, it took like 3% for the American Revolution to occur of the people, or some shit like that. So you know what, man? I'm telling you, like they said, and you know, Josh, man, I hear you. Like, I'm not. Maybe we're all probably very individual thinkers in a way. People who get to this point. And I'm with you, man. Like, when Marilyn, you know, she had her way, she wanted to do it, and I was immediately turned off when, like, I was like, I don't want to be a part. I like being an individual. But the fact is that, like they said it in the revolution too. They said, you know, either we all stand together or we all hang together, and that's what's taking place.
So, with that in mind, I like going big. And Dave Gessner, who runs the Flat Earth 101 website, he has the idea to do what they're doing in the UK with the tour. And I said, okay. So then one of the preliminary steps that we have to do is have a roll call, which is no more than having someone in each state holding up a Flat Earth sign underneath either the capital of your state or a sign that has your state's name on it or something like that, and then submit that to the flatearth101.com website, and we will post that. And when we get all the 50 states up there, then we're going to have some sort of a tour. And we don't know how that's going to look yet, but if you want to be on the website and have your picture there and, you know, to represent your state, so to speak. So take a picture, send it in to flatearth101.com so you can be on that roll call.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing that.
Yeah,
I gotta get the thing to what's his name, to David, because I want to get I want to have that. It's a geolocator for people too. I really think that if people realized like that you had 20 other people in your freaking neighborhood who think the Earth is flat, it might encourage people to say, hey, you know what? I'm not crazy. Because when I first learned this stuff, I was like, am I losing my freaking mind? Like, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough working through all the emotions and figuring it out. Yeah. So with that being said, that's awesome. We're going to definitely put that link down below too as well. So did anybody else want to add anything? We did do a shout out earlier, but anybody else wanted to add anything to that? Yes.
Only thing I'll add at the end here is that anybody listening right now, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, my email, it's david@dbchocolate.com. Maryland goes out with me. It's freaking fun. And if there's any way you can even do it one time, try it. You'll be shocked. If you have, if you don't think that maybe it's for you. And then, I don't know of anything else.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like in the Chicagoland area, if you guys want to, do our meetup, we got meetup.com. If you look under Flat Earth Chicago, you'll see our events there. And also, you can always message me at redpillchicago@gmail.com. If you live in the Chicagoland area and you want to do some activism, and even if you just want a couple of flyers to go pass out, I can give you a little stack, so that at least to get you started, and you could do your own thing. So hit me up for sure. So. Yeah. So how's everybody feeling? Everybody, you want to add anything else? You want to keep going, or should we just
I want to say thank you to Josh. Because I know he's he has to leave his house to do this probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have very good, reliable interwebs at the RV right now, but I can use it to get online and do minor stuff and maybe watch videos. But yeah, I mean, this is important to get out there, bring exposure to the importance of open air activism and letting people know. Why I started doing it in the first place was really to give other people a testimony of things to do and things not to do when you're talking to the public. And whether you want to record it or not, you still have to build that confidence to talk to somebody. And you have to limit the swearing and the downgrading of people, calling them names and everything. And for some people, that's not for them, So I don't know. I just try to be an example for people and, just hopefully that over a period of time, it will be effective, at least where I'm at. So I mean, that's all I can hope for. So
I plan on doing something at schools, and David also was liking that idea.
Before we leave, the schools. But before we leave, I really anybody have any ideas on I would really like to. I really want to chase down doing an event. I just don't see any of the Flat Earth conference thing. Just I don't even understand it. And for me, I want to do a Flat Earth activism event, and I want to start setting it up like today, where we start saying this is going to be the date. Probably should be somewhat when the weather's nice, so that it's not a completely miserable thing, and would give us enough time to start promoting it. But I'm telling you right now, I can see that happening. I can see. I mean, if they can get how many people go to that Flat Earth conference? They get a few hundred or more.
I think there was 500 at Raleigh.
So is that? I mean, it's real. I mean, Flat Earth. Yes, they have Jeranism. So I mean, honestly, if we were to do this rally and we can't get Jeranism to do a shout out for us, if we can't get some of these people to, I would be shocked. I mean, I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to. Why they wouldn't want to work with us.
I think they would.
Yeah.
I think we just gotta get our stuff and then get our ducks in a row and start presenting it and get it all lined up. I think a lot of people would definitely be supportive.
So why don't we do that? Let's make some goals and let's start reaching out to Jeranism, to David Weiss, to all the big names, because they got a ton more followers than all of us combined.
Oh yeah, David's a big follower of us anyway, so he's a good man. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that we have like a big meetup, or what kind of
an activism where we're gonna freaking find the busiest
seminar
biggest event that we can basically terrorize with flat earth real reality red pill, and we red pill as I don't know what event it would be.
Well, it would probably be good to have it like presented in a way where you have an educational informational sort of seminar first, and then after the seminar it'd be like sort of lead by example, and then you take them out and you do like a public activism protest. So I mean, the veganism community, actually they do this a lot, where when you do join on to some of these, they have like an open forum discussion, like a public forum, and then they walk from there to their activism location, and then they present their activism.
And that's a great point, dude. That's another thing. We need to line ourselves and show the benefits of what our message is, because I know a lot of flat earthers are lean toward veganism. Whatever. I don't care if you eat meat or not, but yeah, myself too. And so, like, if we align ourselves, we could probably hit up the First Amendment auditors, because I'm all for that. I'm all, I mean, we're getting hit by that. So now you can, and I mean, that was Maximillionaire 1. That was huge exposure they got us. And what we do is we say, come join us on our flat earth message, and you can be a part of our, like, it's just another area of truth. So now you have veganism, you have vegans going, and it's, instead of just being about flat earth, maybe we make it where flat earth is intertwined with all that. I mean, I would like to have it all about flat earth, but
there's so many different approaches that we could go with, and we probably will go with. So, I mean, with that being said, we got a lot of work on our hands, a lot of culminating to do to get this information together so that we can present it to everybody.
I mean, think about it, because, dude, this is like when you wake up. Some people are waking up because of medicine, because of vaccines, right? And so you get the vaccine people there, and then they start mingling and they start hearing other people's ideas about the First Amendment, or about this, or about the, you know what I mean? So, because flat earth is the anchor of the entire ball of bullshit that they fed us. And so maybe the people who are First Amendment auditors, they smell it, man. They can smell the lies. But half of those don't even realize about Admiralty law. They don't even know it yet. Like, that's crazy to me. I hear him telling the person they're arguing with the cop, saying, I'm a citizen. I'm like, bro, what are you saying that for? So, like, you know what I mean? There's so much crossover. Like, to me, I was like, I don't know. I'm like thinking, why don't we hit and try to join forces with all these? I'm of the opinion of all of them: the vegans, of the First Amendment, of the vaccines, of the, you name it. What's going on? Chemtrails, yeah. Yep. So we get all those areas.
GMO.
So now, rather than having 500 flat earthers, we have 10,000 or 20,000 freaking people. And, it's going to be all part of the same thing, which is,
it's about
all one big lie.
Relating and branching out to all these different truth movements and trying to culminate them into one truth, which is our world is a complete deception, and we have to work from here. Yeah. So,
do we get lost in that, though? Is that what you guys get nervous of?
We're already lost in it, but that's the best way to be, right? Like, I mean, we're feeling around in the dark, so other people, when they make these steps, they can figure things out a little bit easier. So that's why we're here.
Well, I'm thinking that's what I'm going to start doing, is contact. But I mean, I wouldn't have, like, I mean, and where's the benefit in it for the vegans? Okay, now you vegans can now that these people in the First Amendment thing care about your rights. So,
well, look at all the propaganda. Like, once you know the space propaganda, then you see the meat propaganda. Yeah. And look how many times you see the word meat in one day. Think about that. That's an interesting.
Just see the photos of it on TV. I mean, how many commercials?
And then you're like, whoa, they're using the same tactics for the ball, or for this. Maybe, I don't know, something to look at. Anyway, let's not impose any views. Everybody's coming to their truths as they come to them. And let's just end it on a good note, man. Like, what an awesome discussion. Thank you so much, everybody, for bringing up such good points, good perspectives, and we're figuring things out. So for those of you out there who don't see us having a clear message, hey, we're doing our best in hashing out our thoughts. Maybe you guys are getting some thoughts from this, and then you guys can go out and do something else too. So we're inspiration. We're just trying to get the word out. So much love to everybody. Thank you for being here. Does anybody else want to add anything before we go? Are you guys, everybody good?
No, just wanted. Yeah, seminar.
Yeah, the seminar, definitely. We want to get that going. So what we'll do is I'll work with these guys. We'll get some links going down below. I'm going to figure out a good description for this video for those of you who want to follow along with the ideas that we talked about and where we're going with this. So we'll be doing that. And next discussion we'll see where things have come from this discussion now. Maybe we can get some steps going with, like we said, the seminar and some other ideas like the billboards and stuff. So stay tuned, guys. And hey, if you guys want to support us, you want to help us out, dude, you know where to find us. We all have our personal contact information on our own pages. Reach out to us, help us out. Like, if you see what we're doing and you like what we're doing, and if you want to put some input, by all means, hit us up. we're a community here, and we're all loving people, and we all want to help each other. So, with that being said, much love. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to add, like, to all the flat earthers out there, make the effort to grow. Like, yes, these big plans are good, but we gotta, like, the United States, North America is much bigger than the UK, where they can drive from the edge to the edge in 10 hours, right? So, make the effort. Go out, get to your meetups, hang out with other flat earthers. Like, we should be growing and growing and growing. That's how we other and know that I want to get back and not show up to these events and give up 2 hours of our time once a month. I don't mean to be pessimistic, but I don't see how that's growing. You got to make the effort and put aside some personal things, like make it a priority, like going to work or something. Grow it at that level, and then we can get bigger and bigger. I just want to leave everybody with that. And if there are no flat earthers that in your town or your city, well, then you start something. Start posting something on Facebook or in the comment threads, and start meeting other people.
Now, every one of us did not jump on somebody else's tails. We all decided, if it is to be, it is up to me.
Yep.
So you have to take a stance.
Exactly. Yep. So with that being said, out there, now's your chance, guys. Act now. Truth is out there. I love you guys. Joshua, I love you. Thank you for being here. Fokker, love you. Thank you for being here. Marilyn, thank you for being here. Who is this? Sean G. Truth Army just showed up. Zoom Truth. Whoa, what's going on? Yeah, we're gonna stop it.